dear creatives, welcome to another interesting online tutorial. I'm so excited to have you back. Thank you so much for joining in. My name is Adiola, and in today's class I'm going to be teaching you how to make a beautiful Aso Oke ruffled headband. It's trendy and so easy to make, and the unique thing about this beautiful headband is that you can make it with your leftover Aso Oke, or if you're not the kind of person who likes to tie the gele or to rock your gele, this is another beautiful way to wear your Aso Oke. All right, so here are the materials needed for this beautiful piece, and I'm going to be starting with the leftover Aso Oke I have right here. I'm going to be showing you the measurements you need for both the top part and the band part, okay? And I'll also be needing my matching thread and hand sewing needle, and I have my wadding right here. Wadding can also be called felt or fleece, or some people call it breast pad, okay? And ensure that it's the soft type that you have, okay? And you'll be needing UHU glue and your scissors and your Petersham ribbon, okay? Petersham ribbon, you can also use ribbon or bias, okay? You can use bias strip as well, but I prefer you use the Petersham ribbon. You can get this at any millinery or fascinator shop around you, okay? And you also be needing your Alice band. Now this Alice band are of two sizes. This one right here is 1.5 inches wide, while this one I have right here is 1 inch wide. So whichever one you can find in your area works perfectly. So quickly, let's dive into the lesson. So I'm going to be cutting out my Aso Oke right here, and the measurement of this is, I'm starting from the edge right here. So this is one, and it's all the way down to 45.5 inches, okay? 45.5 or 45.5, or you can just make it 46. Like I said, you can work with your leftover fabric. So the longer your Aso Oke, the more ruffles you can get. All right, so 45.5 for the length, and Aso Oke width usually comes in 6.5. Some are longer than this, some come in 7, some are shorter, some come in 6, but I'm not sure I've seen any Aso Oke that is shorter than 6 inches in the width size, okay? But whatever your width is, just leave it the way it is, but make sure you cut out your length to be 45.5 or 46, or just work with the leftover that you have. And I'm going to be needing 2 pieces right here, okay? 2 pieces right here. So I'm going to keep one of the piece aside, and then to my wadding right here, I'm going to measure the same thing with my Aso Oke, which is 45.5 by 6 inches, but I'm just going to make this around 7 inches. I can just easily trim off the excess as soon as I'm done joining, okay? But before I join, I'm going to be ironing the shiny part of my wadding, okay? The shiny part of this wadding, I'm going to be ironing down to the Aso Oke, okay? So I'm placing the shiny part to the Aso Oke, and also ensure that your Aso Oke has the right and the wrong side, okay? Because you don't want to be ironing your wadding to the right side of the Aso Oke, okay? So I'll just place it this way. Now the shiny part of the wadding is the part that can easily glue to your fabric, okay? So, and the reason why I'm doing this is just to give it a little bit of puffness, to make it just puffy. You can go ahead and work with your Aso Oke without using wadding if you don't want it to be too puffy, but that's fine. So I'm going to put this like this, turn it down, and then I'm going to iron to ensure that the wadding sticks to the Aso Oke. And I'm doing this for just one of the piece, okay? Just one of the Aso Oke. So I'm going to go ahead and iron this straight away. All right, so now that I've ironed, can you see how they both stick together? Okay, and then I'm going to put the second piece on top of it, just like that, and then I'm going to join the two edges. Okay, so you place it on top, you join the two edges, leaving the two sides open like a pipe, so you can have like a pipe so that I can be able to turn this inside out, okay, after stitching. So I'll take this to the sewing machine, and you can also pin it in place. Okay, you can pin it in place all through so that it can be properly secured when you are joining. Okay, and just go ahead and do a straight stitch on the two sides from one end to the other end. Same for these other parts, and then when I'm done, I'm going to be back before we turn this inside out. So now that I'm done attaching these two pieces together, or three pieces, because the Aso Oke is two pieces and then the wording is one, I'm going to go ahead and turn this inside out. Okay, so just turn it as gently as possible. Just pull it out gently. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this, and when I'm done, I'll show you how it looks like. So after turning it inside out, this is what I have right here, and then I'm going to make sure that the sewn part lies on the side. Okay, just like this, because don't forget that one part of the Aso Oke has the wording, this other part does not have the wording, so that's why I'm turning it this way. Okay, and I'm going to just go ahead and close up the edge by turning it inwards this way, and then I'll seal it up, and then I'll do the same for the other one. So just go ahead and fold it in that way, nice and easy, and then you seal it up just to have a very nice finishing on the two edges. Okay, so I have covered the edges, and can you see how it's looking more neater, and we have successfully covered up the edges and trying to hide the wording. So I'll put this aside, and let's go to our Alice band. Now for your Alice band, you need to measure the widest part of your Alice band, which is the middle. I'm going to be using this big one, so if you have the other 1 inch, okay, just go ahead and measure. So I have 1.5, and I'm going to make my fabric times 2 of the length. So if I have 1.5 for my Alice band width, that means that I'm going to be making my fabric 3 inches width. Okay, the reason being that it's going to go over and across the Alice band to the back right here, so you need that excess to fold in. Okay, and also the length of my Alice band is 14.5. I'm going to measure this for you. All right, so 14.5. The same for the other one. I think the 1 inch Alice band too is about the same size. Okay, so 14.5, and I'm going to add 3 inches. Okay, or just go ahead and add 2.5, but this is 3 inches right here because I'm still going to cut off the excess. So this is 17 inches. Okay, so I just added 3 inches to my 14.5, not minding the half. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to apply my glue to my Alice band. Okay, I'm applying my glue starting from the middle right here. So you leave it to dry a little, because UHU glue is much more stronger when you apply and you leave it for a while to be a little bit tacky. It glues more stronger that way. So I'll leave this to dry a little, and then I'm going to cover up starting from the midpoint. Okay, so now that it's already dry, I'm going to put my Alice band in the midpoint. Midpoint is the middle of your fabric or the middle of your Alice band. So ensure that you have equal fabric to go round your Alice band this way. Okay, you don't want to glue in such a way that you now find out that one part is shorter than the other. So you want to ensure that now from the beginning. Awesome. So now I'm just going to pull my fabric and then lay it on top, just like that. And press it down for it to glue. As much as possible, try to avoid the glue from touching the outer part right here. Okay, so can you see how it's gluing down? Good. So I'm going to apply the glue to the other part of the Alice band. You don't want to rush the process, okay? You want to do it one place at a time so that you don't mess up your project. So I'm going to leave it to dry, and of course I'm going to press it down when it's dry to cover up. So I'm pressing it down one after the other. So I press this one down first, and I'm going to put the other one on top of it, but I don't have enough glue right there, so I'm just going to apply some glue right here. Okay, and then on the Alice band as well. So I'll leave this to dry before I put this one on top of it. Okay, just put it on top of it and then go ahead and cover this up. But in the meantime, you need to wait for this to dry before you can do anything. So I'm going to wait a while and then we can move on. Okay, so now that it's dry, I'm just going to push it in and pull this one on top of it. Just like that. If you have any excess, you can cut it off, but for now we are ensuring that we are covering up till the end. And I'm going to be needing some glue right here so I can be able to cover this up. So just watch me as I go. So I'm done with covering the Alice band. Can you see how it looks so neat on the outside? But we need to cover up this inside part right here. And I'm going to be using my Petersham ribbon, which I'm going to place. If you notice that the this edge of the Alice band is quite thinner than this other part right here, so means that if you try to put your Petersham straight away like this, is going to be showing on the side. So what we like to do is we try to trim off the edges of the Alice band, okay, starting from here down to the part that we know that the Alice band can comfortably, Petersham can comfortably sit into the Alice band without showing too much on the side. Can you see? So from this point right here, I'm just going to measure about 2 inches. So from these 2 inches here from my Alice band, I'm going to be trimming the sides just to have like a small V. And what I'm doing is just to shorten the width of the Petersham. Okay, just shorten the width right there. Okay, and you won't be leaving it like this. I'm going to be burning the edges, so that's why I have this candle right here. So just burn the edges to help you secure. Okay, all right, so I've secured the edges right here, and let's check it out to see if it fits. So this is much better than the way it was originally. Can you see? So I'm going to secure this edge properly. Okay. Good. And so I'm going to apply my glue right here. On the Alice band. Don't forget to always leave it to dry up a little. Okay, it's very important. So I'm applying my glue all around this way. Leaving it to dry a little, and then we start to use our Petersham ribbon to cover up. So I'm going to just put my Petersham ribbon in between carefully. Okay, and just allow it to lay on the glue while I'm using my thumb to press it down. So you press it down like that. So you use your thumb to press it down. Ensure that at this point you don't have any glue showing on your Petersham. So you need to always clean your hands if you have to. Okay, so this is good. Okay, so I'm going to apply my glue. This time around, I'm not going to be applying to the whole part because this inner part is much more wider than the side. So I'm just going to be applying to the middle. Okay, to the middle right there. The middle of the Alice band. Okay, so same way, I'm going to leave it to dry and then I'll continue. So this is how I'm going to keep covering till I get to the other part, and I'm going to repeat the process of shaping these other parts and burn the edges before I cover up. So I'll go ahead and do that very shortly, and then when I'm done, I will show you how it looks like before we move to the next step. Yes, but we can top. Alright, so I have done covering the inside. Can you see how neat it looks? Okay, so it's time for me to cover up the edge just like I have done for this one right here. And I have my 2.5 inches Petersham ribbon, which I'm going to be using to cover up the edge because you don't want to leave the edge like this. So I'm going to start from one side by applying my glue, and then I cover up. Okay, hold it down. So you use your hot glue. You can also use your UHU for this part, it works, but I prefer to use my hot glue for this part. So I'm going to apply some glue right here, so folding the raw edge of the Petersham that way before you finally cover up. So I fold it in and hold it down. Okay, and then you open up this part. You apply little glue, just a little inside, and then you press it down so that you can seal up the opening right there. Okay, so can you see how sealed it looks? So I'm going to go ahead and seal the other parts. So I'll press it down. So here we are, neatly covered. So quickly let's go to our ruffle so that we can create it and attach it to our beautiful headband. Okay, so I have my piece right here, and don't forget this part has the wording and this part does not have the wording, and I'll be needing my thread. Okay, and this thread is into 6 lines, which I'm going to be using to pleat, and I'm going to start my pleat from this edge right here. So just go in and out. You pull, ensure that your thread is thick enough to hold this in place. So we are going to pleat all the way down. So as you pleat, you pull, you notice that it's coming together. Okay, so I'm going to continue to pleat till I get to the end right there. Just go inside and outside. Please note that our videos are not for resale. If you have made payment to anybody apart from Allured by Ruby, kindly contact the number on your screen. Okay, so I'm pulling and I'm still pleating. So I'm going to continue this process till I get to the end right here. And please note, you can use any fabric for this beautiful ruffles, okay? Not necessarily Aso Oke. You can use your scuba. Scuba is quite thick, so you might not need to attach your wording. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the top part. Okay, ensure you pull as tightly as possible. So once you gather these together, ensure that they are together. Okay, you pull tightly, and that's why you need your thread to be very strong. Okay, so I'm holding it down like this because I'm going to be securing it to these other parts right here. So you want to pull it as tightly as possible, and you're going to be securing it multiple times, okay, until you are sure that it's perfect. So what I'm going to do right now, let me secure this part first. Securing it means you are tightening it and tying a knot to ensure that what you have pleated will not loosen again. Okay, so that being done, I'm going to start to arrange by opening up my Aso Oke. So you open it up in between, because before it was looking flat, so now you have to open it up. Okay, so open it up. You open the one beneath, so the softer one, you have to open it like that. So you open it up. So when you are done opening it up, just like that, okay, then I'm going to start to pick just few from the pleats, just little. Please just go ahead and pay attention and watch me. So I'm just picking few of the pleats. Just pick few of the pleats. The reason why I'm doing is I'm trying to bring these ones forward, okay, to cover up this parts that I have right here. So I'm going to continue. I've pulled this one, so I'm going to secure it. Okay, and then I go to the next one. I pick, so I pick another one. Can you see how it's coming forward? Okay, covering this squeezed part right here. So if you don't understand anything, I suggest that you watch this video over and over again, okay, so that you can understand better. So I'm still picking, so I'm just going to be picking from the soft part of the Aso Oke. I'm bringing it down using my needle and my thread. Okay, so that's why I said you need to open it up first of all, so that you can see where you can pick it from. Okay, so now you can see how it's looking right here. So I'm going to go ahead and, you know, keep bringing some part of the Aso Oke down and tacking it to this part right here. So just go ahead and watch me as I do this. Nothing. So now that we are done with our ruffles and our Alice band, it's time for us to put these two pieces together. So at this point, you need to determine where you want to be your front or your back. As for me, I like it the way it looks this way. Okay, I just like this look right here. And what I'm going to do is to apply some glue. Apply some glue right there. Okay, so after you apply your glue, I'm going to be placing it in the middle. Okay, and then press it down. Press it so well that it sits, and you have to hold it in place until it's dry. Okay, so press it down. So I'm holding it down, and I'm not going to let this go until it's finally dried. So I have to hold it down with my strength so that it glues the way I want it to sit. Okay, and the good thing is you can glue it in such a way that you can wear the front or the back. There's no front, there's no back. Okay, so I'm still holding it down. So hold it down, 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 down. Whew, I'm going to hold this down for a while, and when it's totally dry, I will show you how it looks like. So it's dried, okay? And if you notice this part right here, it's also at the back. So what you want to do is just to pick any part, okay? So just pick any part right here and you bring it down. But before then, you want to apply a little glue. Just a little glue, because you don't want your glue to show. So just a little glue right there, and then I'm going to pull this Aso Oke down and hold it in place until it's finally dried. So don't let it go until it's dry, because it's going to stain your Aso Oke. Okay, so just hold it down, and when it's dry, I'm going to do the same thing for the back. So apply little glue and just pull any piece of Aso Oke that you can find around the area just to cover it up. Okay, and another option is for you to just take a nice trimming, because if this is the back right here, or like a brooch to cover it up, so a brooch is going to be more nicer, so that you can wear both the front that is ordinary or the back that has the brooch. Do you understand? Okay. All right, so this is the front, looking very neat and beautiful. And then for the back part right here, I just found this very nice piece, which I'm going to be gluing to the back part so that I can wear the front and the back. Okay, so I'm going to be placing it down and pressing it firmly until it's dry. So this is what I have right here. This could be your front. This could also be your front. Can you see how beautiful it looks? So if you have a label, you can just go ahead and attach, just like I've attached mine right here. So let's go to the styling of this beautiful Aso Oke headband. So this is how our beautiful headband looks on the dummy head. Can you see? And I'm sure it's going to look more beautiful on you as well, if only you find little time to just, you know, put some pieces together to create your own stunning headband. So this is the back. I think I'm loving the back more than the front, but whichever way, you can wear it as you like. Put the brooch in front, put the brooch at the back. Just make sure that, you know, when you want to wear this, wear it with a very nice outfit, with your makeup, and send a beautiful picture to me. I really love to see how this looks on you. So this is what we have today, and we are done for this class. I look forward to your practicals, and please go ahead and send your questions and comments to the group if you are in a class. And if you have bought this video privately, you can ask me your questions privately. I'll be willing to respond to them as soon as I can. So thank you so much for joining in. I'm signing out right now. See you in my next class. Bye for now.